Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to Double Overtime. We're here having a deep discussion about Manny Machado ruining another baseball player's career, but we're not going to get into that just yet. I'm John. This is Monse, and that's good old Manny Machado right there.
Oh, I'm going to talk about this. I guess we're not starting with why I hate this guy so much that if his head fell off, it would be okay. Let's talk about other stuff.
Let's do it. Let's talk about good old football. Look at this, people. Liverpool champions.
Yeah.
Is this upside down? No, good.
No, they did it.
All right, great.
They finally did it. 14 years since their last Champions League victory.
It's true.
So right now, I think they're the kings of Europe.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know if they're going to get access to any kind of jewelry or anything of that nature like, royalty usually get. But again, they are pretty much, kings of Europe. They are the champions of the Champions League. So
they are.
I guess you can't get much higher than that as far as, status.
No, this is the biggest tournament in soccer in Europe.
That's right.
The biggest one. So they definitely have a lot to be proud of. Though the game was not great.
I mean, no. I mean, there was a early penalty. I mean, some people, I was going to say some people haven't finished their beer, but since people were drinking since like 7 a.m., they had already finished at least 4 or 5 beers. But pretty much when the game started, there was an immediate penalty of a handball.
30 seconds into the game.
Yeah, some people say it was controversial, but I mean, his arm was out there, and I mean, that's technically a penalty. If his arm was down and it hit it that way, his arm was down, but his arm was out like this, and he was gesturing, waving to his mama in the crowd or something like that. But either way, he got caught with the arm out there, and I mean, that kind of cost them the game.
I wouldn't say it's controversial, but how about harsh? It was a harsh call.
Hey,
27 seconds.
This is the finals, though. You can't just be getting away with stuff like that in the final. Now, if this was just some regular game, they might have been like, whatever. His arm wasn't that high up. But, this is everybody's watching. This is the finals. If he got away with a handball in the finals,
it would be
people would have stormed the field.
Yeah, we wouldn't hear the end of it.
Luis would have been in a different fight.
Fights when their teams are playing. You get intense and stuff.
Yeah.
I understand. I might punch someone if they're talking smack about my Clippers.
That's right.
I might do that. And then
you might punch somebody if Kevin Durant joins the Clippers.
He's
but
not coming to the Clippers.
I just so hope he does.
He's not coming.
I pray every day.
I pray. It's going to be perfect with Kawhi Leonard.
He might not leave if they win, though.
I think he'll win. I think he's going to leave no matter what. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there because this was such a big deal. This is the Reds' 6th European victory, European Cup victory. But, it was more than that. There was like 50,000 plus Liverpool fans there.
Right.
From all over the world. That's what's insane. People came from Egypt. People came from everywhere.
Well, technically they have players from everywhere. So,
we talked about how soccer really does bring the world together in comparison to other sports. But it's just insane how you will not stand alone.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Much like I think my scarf says here.
It does. Where is it?
Does it say it on
I don't know.
Oh, maybe this isn't the right one. There's a different scarf.
There's a different
one. Clearly, Luis has like 50 scarves for Liverpool.
Respect.
There it is. It's this one.
You'll never walk alone.
There we go.
And it's so true. And I think this was also a really big victory, not just for Liverpool, but for Jurgen Klopp, the coach.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like, he even said it at the end. He was like, it was more of a relief than anything else because when he took over the team back in 2015, this was the expectation. So for him, I think it was more like a relief than it was anything else.
Well, I'm sure anyone's relieved to win the championship. Like, even when, if and when the Warriors win this championship, Steve Kerr is going to be relieved, even though he's already won many championships. It's still a relief to get to the end of the season and accomplish what the goal was.
Obviously, it's a different type of relief, though. The expectation for Kerr is different than the expectation for a coach who took over a team where people are like, we're expecting you to take us to a victory.
Right.
It's a different type of relief, kind of like a weight off the shoulders type of thing. What do you guys think? Do you think you can compare Kerr's victory to Klopp's first victory?
I still think a championship's a championship. There's still going to be relief at the end of it. That's what I feel.
Whatever. Fine. Everyone's relieved when you win. Sure.
Right. Well, there were 50,000 plus Liverpool fans, and there was also someone who decided to run across the field. Now, I would say streaker, but I'm sure you can find more nudity at a Chuck E. Cheese in Europe than we saw on that field. That was hardly streak. Like, I think the definition of streaking is you have to run across the field in the nude.
John is very upset that this woman was not nude.
Well, I'm just upset that she's called a streaker.
Right, you're not a streaker.
You're not a streaker.
A. Two, I don't want to give this girl much credit because her boyfriend is some sort of prankster. So this wasn't something, she's like a model or something. This wasn't something you did. You did this for fame. You did this because your boyfriend's a prankster.
Right.
So you know what, girl? No, it wasn't fun.
Hey, look, my real problem with it is that you have the security guard, probably over the age of 50. Finally, we'll have a chance to legitimately tackle a lady in her young 20s and kind of get away with it. And he just barely touched her on the shoulder and was like, okay, here we go now. Here we go. Let's go. And I'm like, anytime some dude runs across that field, I mean, they're taking him out like he took the queen's jewelry. Like, that's how they go after him. But
she was escorted off.
Oh, very, very politely. Just,
ma'am, please, this way.
Yeah.
No taser.
Nothing.
No nothing. What would you have done, John?
I mean, I would have tackled her.
You would have tackled her?
Oh,
Would you
definitely.
have carried her off?
Well, I don't know about carrier. I mean, maybe with the help of others.
You could have put her over your shoulder, and then her big booty would have been in your face.
It's true. It's very true.
That's
She had a lot of behind, and
She did.
especially for a Russian woman. I mean, I feel like they're kind of known for surfboard booties, but like she's got a little butt for a Russian lady. So I mean,
okay, just a little butt.
yeah, it ain't bad.
It's not,
Look it up.
It's fine. I'm not gonna give her so much.
That should be an ask the viewers. You tell us what you think about her butt. Is it good for Russia or bad? Yeah.
And we'll keep the conversation of soccer going with the women's U.S. team getting ready to defend their title in France.
Well, before we get to that, we got to talk about your jersey too.
Oh, I'm wearing Chelsea. Chelsea also won.
They won. Europe, at least not Europe. England is running Europe right now. I mean, the British teams are winning all the championships right now, and Chelsea beat the mess out of Arsenal. I mean,
that's true.
That game was done before it started.
Well, very much.
Yeah.
Very different game than the Champions League game.
Right.
That is for sure.
No.
Now, can we move on?
See.
Okay, there we go.
Hey, that was some Spanish.
The women's soccer team is getting ready to defend their title over in France. And it's going to start next week or later this week.
Later this week.
Later this week, we're going to get going. But once again, John, tell me why they are not paid the way they should be paid.
Okay, with the WNBA, it makes some sense.
Right.
With women's soccer, it makes no sense at all. These women are bringing in so much more revenue than the USA men's team.
So much more revenue.
Oh, yeah.
Over the past several years. More victories, more games. What are you doing?
Right.
I don't understand.
No, this one I can't argue in favor of them not getting more money because
argue in favor of any of
no.
anybody.
I'm not
women
saying
getting paid
I'm
less.
not saying that I'm not saying that women should not be getting paid the same as men. I'm just saying that like when you look at the WNBA, the revenue is not the same, so I can understand why the paychecks won't be the same. But as far as this is concerned, there's absolutely no reason why these women are getting paid more than these men because these men are basically bankrupting USA Soccer. Like,
They really are.
They're getting so much money and they're bringing in almost nothing. Like women's soccer has been huge in the USA ever since, Brandi Chastain ripped off her jersey and got me all excited as a young man. I have watched every Women's World Cup because of that. I won't even lie to you right now. That got me very excited. I was like, is this how every goal is celebrated? By just ripping off the shirts? Let's do it. Let's get Mia Hamm scoring a little bit.
So what have
Sorry,
we learned
Nomar.
so far? We've learned that John wants to carry a streaker off the field.
Well,
And
yes.
we've learned
As long as she
that
has a
he
big booty.
Watches women's soccer just because they take their jerseys.
Not just because. That only happened once, but it
No, Mia Hamm did it.
well, yeah. But I mean, that one time really just, it seared something in the brain. It got me very excited for every time women get out there and play some soccer.
John likes the ladies. I think that's what we're learning.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's what we're learning. But the U.S. Women's Soccer has filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Soccer Federation because of all of these things.
And Megan is really in like
The head of it.
The head of it, yeah. Rapinoe, she was kneeling during the national anthem for a little while, much like Colin Kaepernick, and the USA was like, you can't do that because you're representing the USA, which I kind of understand. Like, that kind of does look bad. But at the same time, I mean, what she's trying to get makes perfect sense. I mean, the equality needs to happen, especially when you're looking at the revenue is much better for these women. It just, that one really doesn't make any sense because the money's better, so they should be getting paid better money.
It's true. But back to this kneeling thing. I have a very hard time when people have a hard time with the kneeling because kneeling is a sign of respect.
Right.
Kneeling is one of the most respectful things you can do.
No, it's true.
It really boggles my mind that people get so upset about it because I feel like there could be so many other ways to handle a situation when kneeling is actually a sign of respect.
No, it's a peaceful protest in every way.
Exactly. So I don't understand why people get so upset. But I hope that the women get what they deserve because they have brought us 3 World Cup titles and have won 4 Olympic gold medals.
Oh, yeah.
Boys, what have you done? Oh, wait.
Nothing.
Oh, wait. No,
They've lost.
They've lost.
Many. They're not even in the World Cup this year. They couldn't even qualify for it.
You guys got to fix this. We got to fix this. And this is the beginning of something that will ripple into other sports.
No, it really should. I mean, first off, I mean, these women, more so than any of the others, have the biggest right to do this. And if they can get this done, it will hopefully, again, trickle down to the other sports. But again, they really need to do it for these ladies because it's just absurd at this point.
They've earned it at this point. If you want to say that the WNBA has not earned it because they don't bring in the same viewership as the NBA, sure. These ladies have done everything that you could argue.
No, it's true. It's true because I'm going to tune in to the Women's World Cup. Maybe the men's. Oh, I'll probably have to. But
maybe the men's.
But I know I'm watching the women's.
Because they're going to take the shirt off and they make that goal.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Well, I don't think hockey can take their shirts off as easily because of all the equipment they're wearing.
It's true.
But man, the Stanley Cup has been an interesting fight so far.
It has. Now, the Blues are currently losing, but, Monse, they made it to the finals. And you know what that means, everybody? Good old Mickey D's for everybody. Now, Monse, I'm a man of my word. So there's your apple pie and your French fries. Now, surprisingly, you know, this stuff isn't on the dollar menu anymore. They don't have a dollar. Like the dollar.
This is not a dollar?
No, the dollar menu is literally just sweet tea now. Like McDonald's is a ripoff, man. I'll tell you. I mean, McDonald's is a great company if they plan on sponsoring us. Other than that, they're a ripoff. Elise, would you like a burger?
Thank you.
Oh, here you go. Come on. Coming in.
Ooh, now you're just throwing food.
Oh, yeah. You know.
Eating food.
There we go. We're keeping it real professional today.
Listen, I can eat French fries all day, every day.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Maybe not too much chewing for the viewers listening. No. So if you're listening at home,
we're eating.
I'm eating French fries.
Yeah, we are eating French fries. Everybody wants my baked apple pie because that I don't want. But these French fries are excellent. Now, back to the Stanley Cup.
All right.
The Blues are struggling a little bit.
Yeah, they're still haven't won a home finals game yet. And when they got home, man, did they fall apart. They lost 7-2, and they were down 3 goals at the end of the first period.
They were. It was rough. They even had to take out the rookie goalie, Binnington.
Yeah.
He handled it like a champ, though. He just walked off, didn't complain.
Or skated off.
Once he got off the ice, he had to walk.
That's true. The rest of it is a shame walk.
Goodness. Go back to eating your fries
yes,
before
ma'am.
you interrupt me. Get your facts straight.
Yes,
he had to walk off once he got off the ice.
Okay.
He handled it like a champ. He didn't really complain. And when he was even asked about it, he said, you know, I wasn't having a great game. But do you blame him or do you blame the guys in front of him? The guys getting all these penalties? Because we know how good Boston is in the power play.
Right.
So who do you blame?
I mean, you have to kind of blame the other players.
A little bit, right?
Yeah, because if all these penalties are happening and you're shorthanded and you're having to do more, it's going to affect your goalie because, you know, there's not as many defenders helping him out. And so now he's having to, you know, look around more and try to protect the goal as best he can. But, you know, again, when you're down somebody or maybe even 2 people, it's going to make it a lot harder.
It's going to make it a lot harder. And not to diminish how good the Boston Bruins are on the road. This was their 7th win away in the postseason. Like, they're really good. So you have to keep that in mind. Like, they're already good on the road. We got to be extra careful with what we do. A little bit more control, a little bit more aware of the plays that we are doing. But the coach did say that they were the least penalized team prior to the series. And in 3 games, they've taken 14 penalties.
Do you think that's more on the refs being more harsh on them, or because do you think they were committing these penalties and they just weren't happening before?
Well, I already think that there's a lot of gray with the penalties called in hockey. It's very difficult, especially in live time, to decide whether or not this was a penalty, a cross-check, whatnot, So I already think there's a lot of gray. But I do think that there are nerves involved. You finally got to the Stanley Cup, you're at home. I think you get like a little bit more nervous and you maybe start making decisions that are not the best ones because of the nerves.
I would say so, yeah, because again, they have not won in front of their home fans ever in the finals. So I'm sure that might have a little to do with it. And again, you're on the biggest stage. Everybody's watching. So, yeah, but you got to have to take it like, you do every other game. Like, you have to just be like, okay, one game at a time. This is what we're supposed to do. We have to go out and execute that. And it didn't look like they executed anything they were trying to do.
But see, we talked about how, like, the history, hearing all of this, you've never won, you haven't been here since 1970, it kind of builds this desperation. And I don't know if you can play well desperate.
They managed to get through the desperation.
But they've won. I know it's ago, but they've been there. They already got it. That was their 6th title. I think it's different when all the narrative you hear is, you've never done this.
Yeah, never is a lot harsher.
It's a lot harsher, like the weight on the shoulders of it. So I think the nerves were more a part of the reason why these penalties were called.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. I'll accept it.
But we'll see what happens.
They need to get it together for Game 4.
I hope they win one at home.
To be honest with you, I don't think they're going to win anymore. I think they got their one in OT, because here's the thing. Boston is not going to stop scoring.
No, not at all.
And the Blues, the best they can muster up is 2 in regulation each and every time. You got to have more than 2. You got to at least have 3, maybe 4. But you got to do more than 2, because Boston's going to at least score 2.
It's true.
So, I don't know. They better find a little more offense if they plan on winning the Stanley Cup.
Well, let's see. I have hope. I don't think they're going to win.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to win the Stanley Cup. I said that from the beginning. I think Boston's going to win. They've been there before. It's kind of like a little bit of a less desperation, less weight on the shoulders. They play a little bit more relaxed.
Right.
Let's be real.
And Boston's going to have yet another championship. And I think the city is upset because they're like apparently hemorrhaging money because of all these championship parades they have to have.
Oh, what a tough life.
It's so sad to be in Boston. But no, they really are complaining about the fact that, they're having to spend extra money for security, extra money for like EMTs, because how they drink up in Boston. So, they're having to spend a lot of extra money every time they have these parades, which are like every other month at this point in time.
Every other month, I know. Yeah. That's true. Well, listen, figure it out. Then don't have such good teams.
Right, yeah.
We'll
talk to the ownership.
I don't understand. Stop complaining. It's first world problems. Over it. Anything else that you want to say about the Stanley Cup?
Not as of now. We'll see what happens after Game 4 and 5, and we'll see if the Blues can make some changes. But at the rate things are going, it looks like this might be pretty quick.
It might be pretty quick. But speaking of changes, man, MLB has really changed from the short ball to the long ball, and it is quite showing this season. May was the most home runs hit in MLB history.
Which is interesting, because last year, didn't we have the most strikeouts in MLB history? And now this year, it looks like we're getting the most home runs in MLB history.
Yeah, the MLB has hit a total of, in May, 1,135 homers in May.
That's a lot.
That sounds ridiculous.
That's a lot of long balls.
It sounds like I'm lying, but I'm not, y'all. I swear.
I'm not lying.
I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know that disclaimer that said I give meaningless facts.
No, that's about the Clippers. No, that's about the Clippers.
I'm gonna need you to stop.
Oh,
and
okay.
eat your French fries.
I was just trying to be accurate, everybody.
I need you to stop with your meaningless facts and eat your French fries. Okay. So 1,135 homers in May, which beat the previous record, which happened in 2017 in August with 1,119. Like, this is just ridiculous.
And only a few of those are Bryce Harper's, right? Just a small bout.
It's a small one, a very small one.
Oh, yeah.
This pace that we are on, this means that the MLB they're put on pace for a whopping 6,507 home runs in 2019. 2018, which would break the current record, which was set in 2017, by more than 400 home runs.
Wow.
That is the pace we're at.
Yeah, well, that's what those nerds with books have been telling them. They're like, home runs are more important than anything else in baseball. So you know what? We've really gotten rid of the idea of just dropping it in. Because anytime a shift is on, most batters think, okay, I'm going to beat this shift by hitting a home run instead of just bunting it down the opposite direction. They're like, well, I'm just going to hit it over everybody, which they have been able to do most of the time. But I just don't understand why they won't play a little small ball and just help the team out.
Two things. The next time you bring me French fries, I need ranch. Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, we've seen the game change. Do you think it will ever change back to small ball? Because, you know, sports, they change.
Right.
Hockey became faster. Now it's no longer this thing about having these big dudes that are going to, you know, knock you out into the ice. Now it's about being very quick, speedy, efficient. Mm-hmm. Do you think we'll go back to short ball at some point in baseball?
Only if they start changing the dimensions of these stadiums, because, I mean, a lot of times they're making it so that it's easier to hit home runs in these newer stadiums. You know, they'll bring in one of the walls ridiculously close and maybe the other one's a little further out. But then, you know, let's say if you're a lefty, like over at New Yankee Stadium, I mean, you barely have to hit the ball for it to go out of the park. You know, I mean, it's just the wall is so close on that side. So they're building these stadiums to make home runs easier. So I don't think they're going to make any change until a bunch of owners come together and say, well, maybe we should A, stop using these juiced up balls that they claim they're using, and B, maybe we need to move these walls back a little bit more, kind of make things a little easier for the defenses.
We'll see. I like small ball, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I find it more fun. And I know home runs are really exciting. But when small ball is happening and you get those rare home runs, they're even more exciting. Now it's like people are like, okay, hit a home run. It's like everyone is expecting that.
Well, that's all Jock Peterson swings for.
That's some players, that's all they do.
That's
and Jock
all he
Peterson
does.
is a perfect example. Now the Dodgers, though, are doing really well. They are the first team to get to 40 wins this season.
It's true. It's true. I mean, they have great players. I think they have at least 3 guys with 10 or more home runs already on the season with Monse, Bellinger, and who else has a lot? I wanted to say Kike, but I think he has like 9.
Turner, maybe?
No, I don't think it's Turner. But either way, there's a few guys who have, you know, again, quite a few home runs, more than Bryce Harper's been hitting.
But he hit one against the Dodgers.
Yeah, he hit 1. The man was 2 for 12. Batting average of 167. That's pathetic.
John, I think you could hit better than that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't give you a lot of credit, but I think you could hit
that's
better
just
than
pathetic. That is just sad. And then, like, the only home run he had was completely just washed away by Will Smith coming up, this young catcher.
Genie from Aladdin.
No, not that. A white Will Smith. Can I say that? Will Smith hit this home run, a walk-off home run. Just kind of got right over that left field wall. He did it Big Willie style, baby. That's how you do it.
Big Willie.
Big Willie style.
I love that.
Yeah.
I actually recently saw Aladdin with my mom, and my mom was like, in Spanish, but I'm going to say it to you in English. She was like, so Will Smith thinks he can sing now? And I was like, hey, Will Smith has been singing his whole life.
Right.
Getting jiggy with it, Mom.
Right.
What?
Summertime.
She had no idea that Will Smith was a singer.
Monse. Parents just don't understand.
We just don't understand. But I have a fun question that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
If, let's just say you were casting Aladdin with athletes.
With athletes?
Famous athletes.
Okay.
Based on the character of certain athletes that we know.
All right.
Who would you cast as the genie?
As far as athletes are concerned?
You know, obviously we're not going to cast Kawhi Leonard as the genie.
No, he's not very talkative.
No, he would be like the parrot.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, if we really had to pick somebody like of like current status, anyone,
any athlete who you think I would.
I mean, Charles Barkley. If we could go with anybody, Charles Barkley would be the most entertaining genie you could possibly ever have. You know that. I like
that. Charles Barkley would be a really good one.
Because you can't say Shaq. He's already been a genie.
My child could be genie.
Oh, Manny.
Listen, people got jokes.
Wow.
People got jokes. Right now I'm being told that Machado can be the genie.
Yeah, I don't
he
think
is going to be locked on the lamp for thousands of years.
Dang.
Go ahead, Machado. Be the genie and lock yourself in the lamp. All right? Let me tell you all. You already know I hate Machado. But let me tell you why I even hate him more right now. Because he caused an injury to Boston Red Sox Dustin Pedroia in 2017. He slid into him in second base in a really shady way. And now Dustin Pedroia's career is on the line. He's even going back home. He has a chronic knee injury because of this guy named Manny Machado. So tell me, why do we give him 10 years? Tell me, why do we give a guy who injured somebody who's taken him out for his career? I think he should be punished. And not just him, I'm talking in sports in general. If you cause an injury because you are shady.
Let's calm down. Your boy Silver Fox did something like that, right?
Yes. And I think he should be, in a sense, punished.
Well, he's retired now. So
I know, but I think that if you cause an injury that really is detrimental to the player, you, in a way, need to be punished.
Well, but then you have to have somebody come in and judge what kind, like, was it with malice?
Yes, it's Manny Machado.
Well,
of course it was.
All right, well, with Manny, yes. But I'm just saying, like, other times, like, somebody might have come in too fast, or some situation, or too furious. But, you never know exactly the situation in which something like that could happen that could injure a player for their career. Like in basketball, let's say somebody lands on somebody's ankle and they like mess it up because they didn't see it. They just came down on it.
There's a difference, though. You're talking about something that we could tell if it was an innocent accident.
Right.
That you landed on me. This wasn't the point. What about like when Andrew Bynum knocked out Barrera?
Yeah, it's a long time I've heard that name.
Elbow. But you know what I'm saying? Like that, let's say Barrera would have really got injured after that elbow. Then you should punish him. Okay. I think when Manny Machado slid into second against Dustin Pedroia, come on, man, your reputation is not great.
Right.
You slid in a shady manner to take him out. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. There are sometimes, you're right, when it's a complete accident and it's kind of a freak of nature accident. Obviously, it's not as black and white as I wish it was, my argument right now.
I got you.
But I think there are times when it's very clear that malicious intent was there.
Right. And I mean, injuries are found throughout sports now. Even the fans are getting injured, especially in baseball.
Right.
Young girl, 4 years old, was recently injured during an Astros-Cubs game, hit by a line drive, hit by, Albert Amora Jr. He was very distraught over the whole thing. I mean, any of us probably would be. I mean, for a young child to be hit by that line drive, because again, they're all hitting for home runs pretty much. They're swinging for the fences. So that ball is coming off the bat at sometimes 120 miles per hour. And it's going to be hard for a 4-year-old to react to that.
It's not hard for me to react to that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, especially a 4-year-old. So at that point, you kind of have to put a lot of that blame on the parent. Because you brought your child to a game and put them that close, knowing that the netting has not been set up that far. Like, if it went over the top of the netting and came down on the child, even still, you kind of have to be like, look, you know where you're sitting, you know how close you are. You have to be aware for your child. You just kind of have to be, because your child's not prepared to make those decisions at that speed.
I think that's kind of harsh to say that you got to blame the parent. I think that's a little harsh. This all happens in the split of a moment.
But his job is to protect her,
I understand what you're saying, but sometimes you could be as aware. And what if the child, I don't even know what's happening. Hypothetically speaking, let's say in that moment, the child drops something. And for whatever reason, the dad was picking it up and she got hit in the head.
That's true.
I think it's a little rough to blame the parent. But my question to you, should the netting be extended? Because, in Japanese stadiums, the netting is all the way around. Right. People watch the game through a net.
No, I understand.
Should the MLB do
that? No, not really. Just because too many people are going to complain about it, and you don't.
So you complain about it, and then you get used to it.
Right.
And that's what it is getting used to watching the game through a net.
I mean, I guess you could still make that argument, but again, the ball can go over the top of the net, and people still get injured that way. So, I mean, I don't know if extending it is going to completely get rid of the problem. To be honest with you, I don't want to sound ageist, but I mean, they really probably should put some sort of age limit around where you're sitting at a baseball game because of the dangers of it. I mean, I'm saying like maybe you shouldn't be in that area if you're like under 15, because maybe you don't have the reaction time. And maybe if you're over the age of like 70 or something, maybe like, because you might not have the reaction time then either. Again, these baseballs are coming quickly.
They are coming quickly.
And the people that we usually hear about getting these serious injuries are either really old or really young.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, when you look at it that way, maybe, you know, like at a bar, you got to be 21 and up to be at the bar, you know, or just like a roller coaster. Like there's restrictions, you know.
You think we should add. That might not be a terrible idea. What do you guys think? Do you think the MLB should extend the netting basically at least to the foul poles, maybe even all the way around in some stadiums in other parts of the world? That's the way it is. What do you guys think? I don't think extending it all the way fixes the issue either, but I think doing that will shut some people up.
That's true.
That's what I think. I wouldn't be necessarily against it. Like if they did it, I'd be like, okay. I don't know if I'd vote to do it because I don't think that's going to erase the problem completely either. But I think people will be very happy about it.
Yeah. What do you think at home?
Let us know. Let us know. Our final topic for today will be the NBA Finals.
Yay!
Yay! NBA Finals have been exciting.
They have.
They've been exciting. A lot of stuff is going down. I really don't know who might win.
Oh, we still know the Warriors are winning. But
if Durant does not come back, I don't know if the Warriors will win.
I don't think they need Durant. I mean, they won the most recent game without him. And let's be honest, all they had to do was slow down Siakam. That's it.
They did.
Yeah.
They totally did.
And he's like good every other game. So if he gives you 3 good games, that's still enough. You know, you need 4 to win the series. So I don't think it's going to happen, mainly because the supporting cast for Kawhi is pretty much, was it Aubrey? Oh, Drake, excuse me. That's, well,
Obama and Drake were at the game.
Yeah, well, Aubrey is Drake's real name, and that's what Clay and I believe Draymond were yelling at him afterwards. They called him by his government name, which was, you know, a little hurtful because, you know, he likes to be known as Drake. You know, that's his hard name. That's his street name. But, you know, his mama named him Aubrey. So
let me tell you who is not hard. Drake.
He's from Canada. How hard could he be?
Exactly. I think that basketball is a game of adjustments, right? So obviously the Warriors adjusted, but now the Raptors can adjust.
It's true.
There's a lot left. I feel like there's weaknesses in the Warriors. You know, Klay Thompson might have an injury, but like that whole play was like, bro, you jumped up for a 3 and you wanted to do the splits so you can get a foul. And Danny Green was nowhere near you. He was like basically at half court. Yeah. And you split your legs because you thought you were going to get the foul. The way they play, it's like you guys aren't playing basketball right now. You're playing for the foul. Curry plays for the foul. Just like James Harden. Harden plays for the foul.
Well, Harden plays for it a lot more 100%. Inappropriately. Because he throws legs out, falls all over the place. I mean,
Klay Thompson couldn't have done it a worse job about that.
Right. No, I know. And I mean, let's be honest. It's not like he didn't learn from the example that he saw from playing the Rockets. He's like, well, if they're going to call this kind of stuff on me, maybe I can use it when I'm playing the Raptors. He didn't get it. You know, he didn't get the calls that he was looking for. But at the same time, I mean, I just really don't see the Raptors really getting it done, because if they had gotten it done in game 2, which they really should have, I mean, I don't know how Kawhi didn't get that steal. I mean, Curry was double teamed. He was in a position where he was basically going to turn the ball over, and kind of almost did. But Livingston, being that veteran, was like, oh, let me go get that ball. Threw it to Iguodala, who nailed that 3, and that was it.
Of course. I know. When he nailed that, I was like, of course you would.
Yeah.
You would nail this. You haven't made one shot this whole game. Of course you would.
Yeah, that's the one that matters. It's the one that matters.
Unbelievable.
Plus, they're getting a lot of bench help. Yeah.
Of course it was Iguodala. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, the Warriors are getting a lot of bench help. I mean, Cook came on and like started draining threes. I mean, they're getting a lot from their players. I mean, even Bogut was doing a little bit, you know.
He was. I do think I'm not stupid. I do think the Warriors have the edge. I do. I just don't think it is as clear as we may have thought.
Right.
Now, I'm not dumb. I do think the Warriors have the edge. I think they're going to pull it out. But I really do think the Raptors have a very real chance. Marcus Gasol can do a lot of work on the defensive end.
When he shows up.
Right, on the defensive end. Like, I think they can figure it out. It's a game of adjustments. We'll see what Nick Nurse does.
Right.
But it is a game of adjustments.
And we got to see how long Kawhi can last, because apparently, like, his knees aren't getting any better from game to game. Now, I mean, he's fighting through it, you know, and so we just hope he can still continue to do it throughout however long this series is, because, you know, Aubrey needs all hands on deck, man. You know, he
Before we wrap up, there is one more thing I want to mention that I'm going to mention really quickly. Brazilian star Neymar has been accused of a rape over in France, but apparently it's a setup. And his father has come out and said, if I need to show all these WhatsApp messages between this woman and Neymar to prove his innocence, we will do that.
Oh. I mean, this isn't the first we've heard of extortion of players for money.
It's like, ladies, what are you doing? Just sleep with the guy and sit down, man. Just sit down. Why you gotta do this?
Or just keep the child and, you know, get your child support payments.
This is so embarrassing.
No, it's true.
Why do you do this? Especially when there's proof of it. Like, you're ruining it for all the other women who actually have an issue with men. Here you are thinking you could get money. It's so frustrating. Why are you going to try and ruin a guy's reputation? You're ruining it for the girls. Sit down.
I have nothing to add to that.
All right. This is where we wrap up Double Overtime. Thank you all so much for joining in today.
It's true.
Please comment, like, share. Let us know what you think of everything we talked about. Will the St. Louis Blues get a home win? Should the MLB extend the nets? Should Neymar punch this girl in the face? All of those things.
Right. And should a streaker actually get naked? Yes.
All you can follow us at the network at LATV Network. You can follow me across social media at Monse Bolanos. And you? You can find me on Instagram at John024Durnell or on Twitter at TwitterlessJohn, which is twit_TurlessJohn. Beautiful, beautiful. And if there's anything you guys want us to talk about, don't be afraid to reach out and let us know. We will see you next time right here on Double Overtime. Bye, everyone.